There have been computer labs for a while, as we know, but the tech companies rushed in and everybody was supposed to have one-to-one devices as early as kindergarten. And it was almost like schools were deprived if there wasn't a laptop for every child in the school. Well, that was a little bit premature because this really hadn't been tested much. Now, we can talk about positive uses of screens in schools, skill building for the workplace, typing, spreadsheet creation, robotics, coding, video, music, editing, word processing, assisting students with learning differences, and supporting and supplementing teaching with video and other digital materials. Of course, going to the rainforest in a video can be delightful and you can really learn a lot. But there are downsides that have been revealed now that the technology is so rampant in just about every school. The federal government is throwing money at schools during COVID to buy more devices. And now the devices are there. Number one, they have to be purchased by the schools now, just not by grants. They're falling apart, and it's a huge part of the budget, and it's stressing budgets. What they're seeing now is if screens are omnipresent, kids have underdeveloped social skills, especially when cell phones are utilized in the classroom or allowed in the classroom. Kids don't talk to each other at lunch. They don't talk in the hallways, etc. It's really changed the atmosphere of the school. Some classes and courses are gamified. The kids are working for prizes. They're getting dopamine hits when they get a little spray of stars if they get it right. Well, you can actually get kind of addicted to that, so you don't have this intrinsic drive to get an A. You have this intrinsic drive to get some more stars. Also, it can be distracting. There are kids on their laptops, if there's uninhibited searching of the internet, they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're looking at porn. Now, in the last few years, the schools have been getting a little smarter and they've blocked YouTube and some other things, but then kids will go into Google Docs, Google Documents, and they can talk to each other. So it's tricky business. Health risks, eye strain, obesity, sleep loss, overstimulation. And what nobody really talks much about is the privacy risks. The EdTech companies that sell the software to the schools have kind of a loophole about kids' data. So they can hoover up the kids' data. A profile is set up really quickly on each individual child, and it's all about them. If the schools aren't careful, this private information can be sold to other entities under the guise of ed tech. They're getting away with a lot of stuff without legal authorization. The other thing that I learned directly from a designer was these tools for teaching were designed for engagement, not effectiveness. So yes, do they make the kids stare at the screen? They do. But is it proven that they made them better at math? Did they learn reading and writing better? No, they didn't even test for it. They just wanted to get into that school and here's the software and look how beautiful it is and trust us. We're from Silicon Valley. So that was a big mistake. It was a huge money grab by the tech industry. And it's not working. Reading and math scores are down. So all this massive influx of technology has not paid off. There's benefits that still exist from having a real live teacher in the classroom and teaching off screens. Reading on paper and writing with a pen on paper leads to better comprehension, better retention of information, better attention, and better focus. These are ways to restore academic success in a school. Bring back the computer lab. Contain the screens to where they can learn skills like video editing and word processing and that sort of thing. No smartphones bell to bell. So that means when a kid shows up with a smartphone, lock it away. There's no reason to have it. And then they can get it back at the end of the day if the parent has even allowed the kid to have a smartphone. Every kid doesn't have to have a smartphone. And then paper books. Paper books are so far gone. They're not even on budgets anymore. It's just the laptops and the software and everything like that. Is the pendulum swinging back? Sweden, they're going back to paper. And they're talking about this. We're in Scandinavia. We never like to be thought of as old school. Well, we don't think we're old school. We actually think we're very modern. And we think our kids are going to learn a lot better and read more carefully and retain more if they switch to paper. So it's time to reassess in the United States. There's a tremendous amount of pressure because the technology is still considered cool and modern, even though the scores continue to slide. So how do you begin the conversation? Well, there's a new resource I want to tell you about. It's called the Screens and Learning Action Kit. And there are 13 fact and action sheets. You can begin to have a conversation in a school about technology. You can take a step forward and engage in at least thinking, have these things been proven? Is there any evidence that they work? Can we balance during the day and have more paper books? Can we get the paper books back? Getting on a committee to look at, can you get paper books back? So these fact and action sheets include how to opt out of EdTech. Guess what? There are a few very brave parents in the United States who are saying, we want to opt out. And some of them are successful. Talking to parents and schools about having a phone-free policy. That's also one of these fact and action sheets. Stopping social media use for school communication. Facebook has stopped their content moderation. They're going to let the audience kind of figure out if there's something bad or dangerous. Much more crap is going to be on there than even has been. Some schools are still using Facebook to communicate with students and their families. So you can talk to the school about, can you please not use Facebook anymore to communicate? Talking to school about student data privacy, to be like, okay, schools, are you even looking at where the data goes? Are you wiping the data at the end of the year? That's a new thing that enlightened schools have started to do. And there's another sheet on what AI in schools can and cannot do. It talks about the pros and cons of what AI is used for and what can be useful. Foundations of learning, that's fact and action sheet number 1. Movement is important for learning. It engages the limbic system and it engages the body. Touch is important for learning as well. Right now, I'm talking very early foundations of learning. Connection, that means paying attention and being responsive to them. And then being out in nature. Nature provides a calming environment. I know that's hard for schools to incorporate nature, but at least having some recess during the day, if not a couple times during the day. Screen Time Action Network, they have the facts and action sheets right there, and you just download them for free.